If you're moving to Hamilton, Ontario, but still unsure of what neighborhood you should move to, then you need to check out this video, as I'm going to be diving in deep into the map of Hamilton's Mountain, one of the most recommended places I speak to my clients who are looking to relocate to Hamilton because of the diversity of neighborhoods it has to offer you. As we're going to be diving in deep into the best and worst neighborhoods, the pros and cons associated with each of the neighborhoods, a bit about the transportation, the shops, the schools, the parks, and more, so you know everything you need to know about living in and on Hamilton's Mountain. Now, you might be wondering, what is Hamilton's Mountain? Well, really, it just sits anything on top of the Niagara Escarpment and is one of the biggest dividing lines among Hamilton. So, if you're new here, my name is Matthew. I'm a local realtor, and this is my channel where I share everything about what it's like living in Hamilton and the surrounding cities. And recently, we've had a bunch of people reach out looking to buy here. So if that's you as well, send me and my team a message today to book your free relocation consult call, where we can answer any more of your questions, and we'd just be happy to help you find your next home. Other than that, let's jump on in now to the map and take a look on exactly what you can expect living on the Hamilton Mountain. All right, so here we are with the Hamilton on the map. Now, when most people are speaking of Hamilton, they're really speaking of this central area of Hamilton. Now, you do have a few other communities off to the east and west, with Stony Creek over here. You got Ancaster over here, Dundas right here. But when you're talking about Hamilton, you're really talking about this central part. And when we're talking about the Hamilton Mountain, that is divided up by the Niagara Escarpment I was mentioning. So that area is right along this ridge right here. So if we actually zoom in to the map and take a look, and we'll actually flip over to the different layers, what you're going to notice is you're going to notice probably like 150 foot wall, maybe a little bit less. I'm not really too sure the exact size, but a noticeable wall that you'll go up or drive up along one of the access routes that really gives it that clear divide between like the central part of Hamilton and Hamilton's Mountain. And it's also going to give you a different look, a different vibe than the central part of Hamilton, as it was just developed in different time periods. And typically it was developed more recently. Now that's relatively, as you're going to find some homes in like the early 1900s, late 1800s in Hamilton. Here, the oldest homes here are really going to be in that 50s and 60s. So it started developing about 50 years after the central part of Hamilton. Now, there are a few different areas within the Hamilton Mountain. So let's first divide up the Hamilton Mountain before diving in to some shopping, some real estate, and other things of what you can expect. So if we go here and we first take a look at the north part of the Hamilton Mountain, I call this really anything that is west of Upper Gage, kind of goes up to Upper James Street is where I like to kind of cut it. And this is like the North Hamilton Mountain. Here, the homes are going to be a bit smaller. They're going to be those typical bungalows, 1.5-story homes. Detached homes are going to be the primary things sold here. And what's great about this community here is not really many detached garage. You'll get a bunch of detached garages, not many attached garages. But it's a great area if you're looking for affordability that offer also a lot of great walkability to some amazing shops we'll cover in a moment. The next area you might want to consider is anything really east Hamilton Mountain. So I would say that's anything east of Upper Gage, kind of south of the Stone Church Road, and kind of gets wrapped in here with the Niagara Escarpment. Now, typically on the east side, especially closer to the north edge, you're going to find the most affordable real estate options within the Hamilton Mountain, as well as one of the largest parks we'll cover in just a moment at the Mohawk Sports Park. Then the next area on the Hamilton Mountain you might want to consider is the central part of the Hamilton Mountain. So that's really anything along this road right here to Upper Gage, to Stone Church, to Upper James. And here you're going to find kind of a mixture of a variety of homes. It kind of takes the characteristics of each of the home neighborhood, its surroundings. So you're going to find some homes that were built in like the 70s, the 80s, 90s, a few in the early 2000s. But really this section here is going to offer you the most amount of shopping options to choose from, as well as a variety of townhome options we're starting to find here. You're not going to find many townhome options on the north or east part. You'll find a bit on the east part, not much on the north part. And then the next area you might want to consider is the west part of the Hamilton Mountain. So again, it's really just anything west of Upper James, kind of south of Stone Church Road, and then gets bordered right here by the Niagara Escarpment. Now, this area here is going to be the most expensive to buy real estate in. A lot of the homes here were built in the 80s, 90s, and then the further south you go, a bit into the early 2000s. And as a result, one of the things I know my clients love about the west side is the amazing schools, especially in the mountain Mountain View neighborhood, as according to the Fraser Institute ratings, it has the best public elementary school and Catholic elementary school available on the Hamilton Mountain. Now, the final area and the last area that was also developed on the Hamilton Mountain is anything that is south of Stone Church Road. So if we go here and just draw a line, it's Stone Church Road and really south. So it's like this. But most of it is going to be kind of Stone Church Road and a little bit around Rymal. It's more like that. You find some rural homes out here, but not much. And a lot of these homes here were built in the 80s, a lot in the 90s, a few in the early 2000s. A lot of detached homes you're going to find, a lot of townhomes. Not many condo options are going to be available really throughout the Hamilton Mountain. You'll find a few scattered, but the majority of condos, if that's what you're looking for, are going to be found in the central part of Hamilton. So now you kind of know the different neighborhoods. Let's talk a little bit about the transportation, how to get around, and what you can expect when living here. So when you're on the Hamilton Mountain, there's pros and cons depending on what you're going to be doing on a regular basis. So like if you're living in like the north end, or you're just living close to the Niagara Escarpment, you're going to be further away from the Lincoln Alexander Parkway, which is the main collector road taking you to the highways of the 403, which you can take out to Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, Toronto, or out to London right that way. Or you can go out to the east, take the Red Hill Valley down, and then you can jump on the QEW, go to Niagara Falls, or also Burlington, Oakville, Toronto, etc. Now, when you're living here, one of the downsides, especially like if we go here and we just talk about the traffic first, and we go right here, typical traffic. This is always something I like to do, especially like I'd highly recommend if you're in the process of deciding what neighborhoods are right for you and you're like, I don't know, right? I've never lived here. I don't know. I'm relocating here. Like, how do I know what the traffic looks like on Thursdays at 5:40? Let's go 4:20. Here we go. Here's where the majority of traffic is going to be backing up. So as you can see, like the main roads, it has a little bit of traffic like any big city, but for the most part, it works out pretty well. You don't really have many reds. The real red is going to be really where kind of the Lincoln Alexander Parkway connects with the 403 right here. And then also, as you see, like the Red Hill Valley coming up from all those commuters that are coming either from central Hamilton or out from one of the other area cities in the GTA are going to be coming up here, and you're going to get delayed times. Now, with that said, what you'll also notice is there tends to be a little bit less traffic in the northern part. It seems to be just people get to their homes faster, I guess, versus the south part. I also think that's probably because you just have a lot more neighborhoods here, and therefore a lot more people are typically traveling down to Rymal. And then I know Rymal gets backed up as Rymal's not a very big road right now. They are working on some sections to make it wider, but at the moment, you'll definitely find some backup. And then, of course, the Lincoln Alexander Parkway, like I mentioned. As for like the public transportation, before I mention that, when you're living on the north part, you're going to also get easy access, though, to the downtown Hamilton area, not via the highways, but you'll get a variety of different access points, whether that's the Sherman access, the Wellington access, and these are just going to be like little roads that kind of weave down the Hamilton Mountain and give you great access. Like, I know a bunch of my friends that actually live on the Hamilton Mountain and then just drive down or take an Uber down, which is pretty cheap because you're just going down really the mountain, and then you can get all the cuisine, go check out the breweries and everything that downtown Hamilton has to offer you, but then you can kind of retreat back up, get a bit more peaceful neighborhood, that what you're looking for on the Hamilton Mountain here. So I know that's definitely one of the things my clients love. And then if we look at the public transit score, like I was mentioning, where you're going to find a variety of public transit options is really going to be around the main roads. Like, you're going to find a lot of options really along James Street here, but you're also just going to find them throughout the Hamilton Mountain. It's not going to be as great as central or downtown Hamilton. However, with that said, this is probably the second best area, I would say, that or Dundas. But I would say this is definitely going to be the bigger option that has the most options for taking public transit. Now, if you're looking to go to Toronto, you do have a few GO bus options, but realistically, you're going to be going down to West Harbour GOs, where I'd recommend to go grab the GO train. So now that we've covered the traffic, let's talk about the shopping different opportunities. Now, no matter where you're going to be living, you're going to find a pretty short drive to a variety of shopping options. Now, with that said, we'll kind of start off to the north end and work our way south. So first spot I'd always recommend, and probably the spot you would notice me most likely to if you're at the dinner hour and you're not wanting to cook like myself and want to just grab some food, is Concession Street. Really along this area strip right here, you're going to have some great restaurants to choose from. Some of my personal favorites are like the Dirty South's great. My sister loves Bring Me Some. It's a nice vegan restaurant that she enjoys. You get the ice cream parlor. You got Speedy Subs. You also have Cowabunga just off over here, a bit more to the east. One of my favorite spots to go grab pizza. I think it's the number one pizza in Hamilton. A variety of other restaurants like the Caribbean Canada and more. But other than that, you're going to find a few boutique shops. But as you kind of move out, Not going to find many along Fennel here. Some will be along Mohawk. You'll get your basic necessities, but really you're going to find a lot more kind of running on the north to south roads. So right here along this road right here, Upper Wentworth, you have Lime Ridge Mall. It's the largest mall. I don't know if it's actually the largest mall. All I can say is it's the mall I choose to go to if I need to get Christmas shopping done or just get a bunch of errands done at one location. This is the area I typically go. This is where you got Sports Check. You have a variety of other great shops within Lime Ridge Mall, but then also just around it, you're going to have like the Fortinos up here in LCBO. I often visit the Staples here as well. And a few other, like this D-Spot Dessert Cafe is just fantastic. Would highly recommend, but definitely need to have the belly in order to waffle down that amazing dessert there. But other than that, a few other areas that you're going to notice a lot of shopping options is going to be along Upper James. You're going to have some South Plazas really along this area right here. Oh, looking for pharmacies apparently. Nope, no thank you. We have this right here. So got a Food Basics, got a Canadian Tire, a No Frills, a community center, as well as just a few restaurants here. You have a Walmart that's a bit more south with an LCBO beer store, Dollarama. But if we kind of continue, more north. If you continue more south, this is where you're going to find a lot of the great restaurants. So you got the Spring Grill House. You have the Works Burgers. So 50 different burgers to choose from if that's what you want. Spring Sushi is great as well. You have the Keg somewhere up here. The Swiss LA. There's the Keg, Shoeless Joe. So this is where another spot you're going to get a lot of these restaurants. Now, what I find is kind of the more south you go on the Hamilton Mountain, the more like chains you're going to get. You find some mom and pops, but really a lot more of the mom and pops are going to be on the north end, which I know I personally enjoy a lot. Then the other two shopping areas you might notice when living on the Hamilton Mountain is this area. It's actually technically in Ancaster, but like the Hamilton Mountain is right here. This is the shopping plaza, so there's no reason why you wouldn't go here. And you're going to find a lot of options to choose from. As you can just see just from this view here, you have a Costco, Home Depot, Best Buy, Winners. You got a Cineplex, a great dog park if you have dogs to go check out, Party City, and many, many more restaurants and shops to choose from if you're living on the west side. And then on the flip side of that, if you're living on the east side, you're going to notice a lot of different shopping options right here, kind of where the Lincoln Alexander Parkway meets the Red Hill Valley, where you're also going to find another Cineplex, but also a Home Depot, Best Buy, Sobeys, and a variety of other restaurants to choose from. So those are the parks. Those were the shopping. Now let's chat about the parks. So a few notable parks that you want to check out if you're living on the Hamilton Mountain. First, I would recommend the Sam Lawrence Park. This is one of my parks I enjoy, right? Because I usually grab some donuts or like some barbecue or a sub or whatever it is, and I'll just jaunt over. Me and my girlfriend will go sit at Sam Lawrence Park, put a blanket down, and you just get some spectacular views of not only just like downtown Hamilton, but you can also see the Hamilton Harbor, Lake Ontario, and the Hamilton Skyway, which is pretty awesome. But you also will get another great park right here at Mountain Drive Park, that offers a great option. Now, what's great about these two parks here is they also connect to the rail trail. So there is a great hiking system that I routinely hike on, and you can run or bike or rollerblade. I wouldn't rollerblade in some sections because it's gravelly, but you can do basically anything you want with run and walking as long as you want, pretty much until your heart's content. Just remember, you got to walk back along this Niagara escarpment that's completely wooded. So like I live like a 2-minute walk away from that, not even, probably like a minute walk away, and it's something I routinely go to with my neighbors that have the dogs, and we go for runs, go for walks all the time, and it's great. It's like a 2 seconds, you're a cityscape, and you're just away out in the wilderness, hiking in your backyard, and depending on how far you hike, you'll get to some amazing waterfalls. So the most notable waterfalls will definitely be here on the east side. You have the King Forest Park, and you got Buttermilk Falls right here, as well as Albion Falls right here. Two stunning waterfalls, definitely to go check out. And then, as you can see, you have Mohawk Sports Park, probably the biggest park for like sports fields in the Hamilton Mountain, maybe all of Hamilton, ? But you also have the Mohawk Ice Rink that offers a few different ice rinks to choose from. Then, kind of in the central part of the Hamilton Mountain, you'll find TAB McQueenston Community Park right here. Here is going to just offer a bunch of green spaces as well as a jungle gym, a few other sports. I believe it has a basketball court, a tennis court, and a few other things as well. Great, especially if you're living in that area or just to walk around. Then, other than that, if we're kind of out on the west side of the community. You're gonna have Olympic Park right over here that just gives a few more sports fields as well as a great green space to enjoy. And then you really have access to Iroquois Heights Conservation Area, where again, you can just hike in the wilderness, and then you can easily run into many different waterfalls to enjoy. My personal favorite here would have to be the Tiffany Waterfalls for sure. It's definitely the most beautiful. So that was the parks available. Now, as for the schools and what you can expect within the Hamilton Mountain, overall, they're going to be pretty good. They're probably on average, if not just above average, for the Hamilton schools you're going to find throughout. Now, there are going to be some standout schools. I know one of the questions my clients always ask about is in the west end of Hamilton's Mountain, especially kind of on the Mountain View neighborhood, which is right here. According to the Fraser Institute, it's got the best elementary school for both public and Catholic. But throughout, you're going to find some great schools to choose from. Most notably, you'll also find Mohawk College right here to offer a variety of post-secondary options to choose from. Now, other than that, if you have any other questions about the Hamilton Mountain that we haven't covered in this video yet, send me and my team a message today to book your free relocation consult call. But since you stuck around to the end of this video here, I'll give you some general rule of thumbs so that you can better, just like when you look at the map, when you look at a listing online and you just have an idea, you kind of have an idea of exactly what to do. So now, on the rule of thumb, the further south you go, the more you're going to get newer real estate, right? So like 50s, 60s is here, like you get 70s, 80s right here, and then like the 90s kind of pop up around this area here. Then also, and this is kind of a rule of thumb, not just with the Hamilton Mountain, but also just for like pretty much all of central Hamilton as well, is the further east you go, the more affordable it is. Same with the further north you go, typically. Now, there's, of course, different neighborhoods that really get into the nitty gritty, but that's a nice rule of thumb, right? And therefore, the further west you go and the further south you go, it's going to be newer neighborhoods more to the south and more expensive neighborhoods typically off to the west. So there you have it. I hope now you have a better understanding of what it's like living on the Hamilton Mountain and what it can offer you. Now, if you're interested in learning more about another community in the Hamilton area that a bunch of my clients love looking in, as well as the Hamilton Mountain, the next video I recommend you go check out is my video covering the best neighborhoods of Stony Creek. So you can find that video right here. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.